Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where we are discussing climate change, abrupt climate change, and things adjacent. Thanks again for your discussion commentary on the video yesterday. A lot of what I like to do on this channel is play what if and put out ideas that, possibilities, conjecture, just playing with ideas, toying with possibilities, as well as looking at the science. We all know what the science is telling us, what the science is showing us. We all know where the probabilities are going. But I am totally and completely interested in turning this around and not having us go down the road that we look like we're going down. And so, I like to think about the best possible courses, and there's nothing wrong with that. We have some time left, and we might actually have more time than we thought, and there's nothing really harmful in talking about ideas. It's actually the healthiest thing we could possibly do is talk about ideas and be allowed to talk about ideas while we are still able to. Anyways, we talked a little bit about Blue Ocean event yesterday. Talked about obviously rewilding, obviously wild spaces. Talked about global dimming. A few very important subjects. Climate change is so all-encompassing. There are so many aspects and so many angles and so many levels to climate change that it's quite a complicated issue, and that's why I feel like it can be overwhelming. People can be overwhelmed by the information or feelings of helplessness because there are so many things going on. There are so many feedback loops in play right now. There's the road that we might possibly take to fight this or get out of this is many faceted. So, but do not lose hope or lose heart. There are many people in the know and want to travel the same road of knowledge and possible mitigation. And so, we're all in this together. We're all trying to find a way through or find a way to deal with this. And, sometimes it gets a little messy, and that's okay. That's totally okay. So I want to talk about, I was talking about other channels and talking about Just Have a Think, which is a great science-based channel. And I ran across this video, or this video came up in my feed by someone named Simon Clark, also British, titled, "Shouldn't Sea Levels Have Risen by Now?" And when I first saw the video and saw the picture, I thought, oh, this is a denier. This is going to be a denier video. It's actually, he was trying to scientifically explain why, to the layman, why it doesn't look like sea levels have risen or haven't risen very much, or they've risen by millimeters. Obviously, we know that sea level rise is now visible. Miami is flooding every time they have high tides. It floods several times a year. Also, I was just reading an article a few months ago about a spot near San Diego that floods out quite frequently now. It's happening. There are islands that are going underwater. There are places on the Alaskan coast that are also succumbing to sea level rise and encroachment upon their villages. There's a town in Louisiana that is basically no longer going to exist very, very shortly, and that's due to sea level rise. It's happening. So this guy attempts to explain why, it doesn't look like sea levels are rising very much. And basically ends up saying, okay, like there's not a lot of sea level rise right now, but it's going to exponentially go up by the end of the century, and it's going to mean very bad things. And this is climate change, and this is climate change induced. This is human induced. We should start doing something right now because they haven't risen very much. Obviously, this doesn't take into account all the other things involved in climate change. The reason why I'm talking about this is because the comment section is just filled with denier dum-dums and just top comment: at this current rate of ocean level rise, I'll have to move my beach towel within my lifetime. Ha ha ha. I'm Dutch. I'm not scared of the sea. The sea is afraid of us. I bet if we have higher taxes, the sea level will fall. Just, not they didn't take in the information in the video, so comprehension was very low. Listening comprehension was very low, and they assumed, I think, by the title of the video and by the very first couple of minutes of the video, that there was nothing to worry about. That this was somehow explaining away the idea of sea level rise as a human-caused climate change issue. And so people just started commenting away. This obviously is a big deal. It's something that we're going to have to fight against if we're going to do anything about this. The likelihood that we're going to fight against this is very low at the moment, but this is the point of this channel and other science-based channels and other channels that are talking about the truth as it can be known and observed and have a consensus on it. The point of this channel is to educate, hopefully, and to spread information and knowledge so that people can better able to take control of their lives, their future, possibly the people around them, the countries they live in, their culture. They can start making changes that will enable people to live happy lives in the future, or just live. That would be great. So I have a new installation of Way Past What the Fuck, and this is from Monday, April 8th, titled Into the Future Darkly. It starts with a quote from Macbeth, Act 4, Scene 1. By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. So get out your tinfoil hats, boys and girls, because 5G is coming to telephone poles near you. SpaceX has been contracted to launch 20,000 5G satellites in the next 2 years. According to this article in the Washington Post, 5G, with the potential to remake and revitalize local industries, including education, healthcare, manufacturing, energy, entertainment, and agriculture, it's no surprise that network operators, equipment providers, and forward-thinking policymakers are fully engaged in the coming 5G revolution. This revolution, quote unquote, assumes two things: that there will be a livable planet in 2 years, and that the serious health effects of instituting this technology will be outweighed by the benefits. I've begun to see commercials with smiling, happy people who are just pleased as can be by all the benefits of 5G. They can now download movies faster, their cell phones work better, and they are more connected than ever before. The smiling, happy ones are the ones we interact with every day: the ignorant, the mindless, the insane. They view this as just another tool in their arsenal that will supposedly make their lives easier and better. Little do they know. I am continually shocked at how easy it is to fool them. If I were a nasty person, I would take full advantage of this and get started right away fleecing the rubes. I am not a nasty person, so I will abstain for now. An article on World Health Net stated that today you can live in locations away from cell phone towers to limit exposure. That is now being taken away. It won't matter where you live, 5G will irradiate you. This untested new 5G system will irradiate everyone with millimeter-sized, non-ionizing radiation 24 hours a day with completely unknown health effects. Studies to investigate possible harm will take many years after these systems are fully implemented. So wrap your brain around that if you can. A completely untested and unknown entity is being shoved down our throats with no public debate and zero accountability. It is a situation where someone somewhere is just saying, let's try this and see what happens. kind of like testing beauty products on animals. Evil fuckers who just pour shit on defenseless creatures. I wonder if this hurts. Only now are we the defenseless creatures. We have discussed conspiracy theories on here before, and this technology would fit in that category. This theory, though, is not a conspiracy, it is an actual fact. This is being implemented right now. Yet another example of how little powerful people care about you. Their concerns are not with your health and well-being, or the health and well-being of your children, or the health and well-being of all life on the planet, which is going to be negatively impacted by rolling out 5G. In a recent video on Press for Truth, Max Egan, whose site is the Crow House, was interviewed on the subject of the massive amount of harm and control 5G will usher in. He said, anything you can think of, they can do with 5G. He was talking about the unprecedented level of military applications and control measures that will be accessible when 5G is fully operational. If I did not believe that we will all be dead before any of these processes will start to take effect, I would really be scared about this next level shit. One of the things Mr. Egan described that is already implemented in China is what he called social credit system. This is kind of like your credit score, but with much more at stake. When you lose social credit points, they can ban you from getting on a plane or train, throttle your internet speeds, ban you or your kids from the best schools, stop you from getting the best jobs, keep you out of the best hotels, publicly naming you as a bad citizen, and the worst, in my opinion, is a social credit system for dog owners, which will, if you break the rules, allow them to take your dog. Ultimately, this will mean nothing, as I believe that we will be long dead before any of the health effects can manifest. There is, however, the immediate short-term problem of increased surveillance and control, which may begin outlawing or marginalizing people who tell the truth, and in the short term, that is a valid concern. We need to be aware of and fight against anything that will give the powerful more sway over the powerless. We are not powerless, though, and that should be kept in mind when you feel as though you can do nothing. He has a link. This site has more information on the dangers of 5G and about that 5G gizmo on the phone pole. Maybe it needs to get broked. Good stuff always from Michael Campy. Thank you. I look forward to reading these every week as a I guess an op-ed section of Black Bear News. He brings up many good points in here. Things being, foisted upon us without any real testing, or with the testing results being muted or not told to the public, and we are just supposed to just take all this technology in and just a better life and all that, and eventually the harm or the downsides come to play many years later when it's way too late. And this is how industrial civilization has unfolded over the last 100 years, which is, here's some stuff, this is going to be great. And the eventuality of all of that, the long-term repercussions of all of that, are that we are now living on a planet with a terminal illness called human beings, and now living on a planet that has a very short amount of time left to be able to sustain us and other creatures on this planet. And that is a real situation that is actually happening. That is not, somebody didn't make that up. And people will deny that all the way until they can't. So one thing that we did not, there was a discussion yesterday about, or in the comment section of the video yesterday, about the timeline of a blue ocean event, what that means for humanity, or what that means for the state of the planet, and how long do we have after a blue ocean event occurs. And someone said that they didn't think that it was going to be quite the game changer, or the falling off the cliff moment that everybody thinks it is. That it might be more of a gradual, we'll get a little blue ocean event for a couple of weeks, then there'll be ice, and then, it'll go back and forth, and then it'll be a little while more until we actually have, a long-term blue ocean event, or we lose most of the ice. Timelines may vary. Um, Again, results may vary with climate change. So use as directed on the back of the package when you buy climate change at your local Target, Walmart, Vons, Ralph's, Kroger, supermarkets. Climate change. It'll do you something good. Um, Moving on to the last thing I wanted to cover. So my thoughts are actually this on the Blue Ocean event, that yes, it's going to most likely help along the acceleration of the already large and looming problem. I think we are already at a point right now in 2019. We've had major grain losses due to weather events. Um, we have had weather events basically impacting and affecting the ability to plant crops for this season. And this is also happening in other parts of the world where we're having food disruption, we're having cattle losses, um, agriculture losses, and we're at a point right now where these are going to start piling up very quickly. So I don't know whether it's this year or next year or probably 2021, but at some point we're going to those effects are just going to be what they are. There's really nothing more you can say about them. We're going to lose the ability to grow grains because of major weather events, multiple major weather events, um, getting in the way of being able to produce food for 8 billion people. And I don't know when the actual cataclysm as a result of that is going to happen, but look for it in the next 1 or 2 to 3 years. That's about all the time that we're going to have. I'm hoping that we have a respite. Somehow we have a few more years of normalcy. It doesn't look like it's happening that way, because it looks like extreme weather events are happening uh, more frequently every single year. In the last 3 to 4 years, we've seen this ramp up of hurricanes, wildfires, droughts, um, heavy rain events, heavy snow events, weather whiplash, um, major environmental disruption is happening right now. And it is not most likely not going to plateau or level off. I hope that it does. I really hope that we get a respite. But it doesn't look like it's going that way. It looks like, we are experiencing, the graph of exponential climate disruption. And, do what you can in the face of that. Do what you can to um, procure some foodstuffs, or if you want to hold out against the inevitable, which it is right now, inevitable. If you want to hold out against that, put yourself in a position to be able to do something about that. Or if you just want to, if you don't see the point in fighting against that or doing anything about that, and that's totally fine. You can just ride it out and see what happens. There's nothing wrong with that. Because most of the people on the planet are going to be writing it out and seeing what happens. That's basically what everybody's going to be in the same boat. Like, what the? So last article I want to cover. This is from NPR, and this is happening this week. A second bomb cyclone. Colorado predicted to go from 80 degrees to a blizzard. Also, parts of the East Coast, I think, were near 80 degrees. Other parts of the country are already very, very warm, and now here we go. Weather whiplash is predicted to hit people in the Rockies and plains this week as conditions go from balmy to blizzard overnight. The high is predicted to be around 80 degrees in Denver and other cities Tuesday, but within 24 hours, blizzard conditions are forecast, the National Weather Service says. Warm today, snow tomorrow, says the NWS office in Denver and Boulder, Colorado, predicting temperatures that could hit record highs Tuesday, followed by rain turning to snow and a blast of cold air that will ride winds of 40 to 60 miles per hour on Wednesday. It is now Wednesday, so I don't know what's going on for sure, but I'm just giving you this article. For many central U.S. residents, the week began with warnings of a possible winter storm, but predictions now call for an April blizzard that could bring whiteout conditions. And because of the intense drop in pressure, the system could develop into the region's second bomb cyclone in less than a month. In addition to snow, residents could see dangerous flooding, including in towns in Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, and along the Missouri River. All of these places were already hit very, very hard a few weeks ago, where people are still coping with the effects of last month's floods. Heavy snow will develop in the mountains Wednesday morning and then may spread across the plains Wednesday afternoon. The NWS office said in Boulder, the agency's blizzard warning for Northeast Colorado applies from noon Wednesday to noon Thursday. Blizzard warnings have now been issued in several states, from the Dakotas and Colorado to parts of Iowa, Nebraska, and Minnesota. The storm came ashore from the Pacific Ocean on Sunday and Monday, bringing heavy rainfalls and floods to Oregon, where evacuation orders were issued in the Eugene area. Oregon Public Broadcasting reported on Monday. It is also expected to cause problems in Idaho and Montana as it gets closer to its expected meeting with cold air. Snow is expected to develop Wednesday morning over the higher terrain and spread eastward, the National Weather Service office in Colorado says. Precipitation is expected to begin as rain, but change to snow during the day as colder air moves into the area. As for how much snowfall might accumulate, forecasters say that it's still uncertain for some areas, but that overall the snow totals could be similar to last month's blizzard. Parts of South Dakota could see more than 24 inches of heavy, wet snow. The National Weather Service office in Sioux Falls says other areas in the state and neighboring areas might see only a few inches. 24 inches. Holy moly. The sudden about face is similar to the way the inland bomb cyclone formed in March, when the weather in the Rockies and Great Plains shifted from clear skies and temperatures in the 50s and 60s to rain, snow, and howling winds. It is not unusual for these parts of the U.S. to experience swings from warm temperatures to snow in the springtime, but the intensity of the coming switch has caught forecasters' attention, and they're warning people to keep a cautious eye on conditions that could quickly turn dangerous. We usually get a winter storm sometime in April, the National Weather Service's Carrie Flegel told South Dakota public broadcasters Gary Ellenbolt. However, amounts that we have forecast right now are pretty rare. Some of this might be in record territory. So watch for that again. An already very, very disrupted Midwest, possibly seeing some more disruption. So just giving you some current breaking up to the minute coverage on this storm. Historic springtime snowstorm wallops Rockies, north central U.S. as it intensifies. And this is from today or right now. Monster spring storm unleashes heavy snow, triggers hazardous travel conditions across central U.S. Parts of the northern plains and Rockies are being buried under snow and lashed with high winds, causing numerous car accidents. Accumulation totals could hit 30 inches in some places by the time the storm is over. Snow is coming down fast and furious in the Rockies and north central U.S. and is expected to accumulate up to 30 inches in some pockets. Meanwhile, thunder and lightning are accompanying the intense snowfall in some areas. The storm blasted parts of the west with heavy rain, heavy mountain snow, power-cutting winds, and blowing dust on Tuesday, with more on the way into Wednesday night. The early stages of the storm knocked out power to 50,000 in Los Angeles area and kicked up dramatic dust storms in Nevada. This is very true. Actually, we just had our power knocked out about 2 hours ago, and it was out for about a half an hour. We had some very intense winds last night. Super intense, and it continued into today, and it's pretty much died out now, and we have our power back, obviously. So the already massive storm will continue to gain strength across the nation's heartland into Thursday, bringing everything from damaging winds to blizzard conditions, flooding, rain, and severe weather. So everybody in the Midwest, please watch out for that. People who are in affected areas, be safe. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. Until next time, peace.